Okay.
This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John DiNallo, who have a habit of talking while I'm doing their introduction. So I think I'm going to stop introducing them.
No, it's not a habit, Karen. We do it on purpose. It's
Oh, okay. I'm glad to know that.
it's not a habit.
Thanks for telling the producer.
We apologize. We apologize profusely because the last person we want to upset is Karen Hale, our media mogul, New Cleveland Radio owner, and producer of What in the World. Thank you so much for that great introduction. Yes, I am Paul Seaburn, the host of New Cleveland. Wait, no, we'll edit this out. The host of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. You know our motto: real news, sometimes strange, always funny. We hopefully we live up to that each week. We're so thrilled that you tune in to get away from the mainstream media of bad news, business news, the strange stuff, the UFOs. We won't be talking about UFOs today. We'll get away from all that stuff and just talk about the strange, funny, and weird kinds of things that are going on in the world that you don't hear about on the other media sources. We even have sports, and that's my cue to introduce John DiNallo, our host of What in the World of Sports. Hi, John.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Karen. Another week and another show. So let's get it going.
That's right. Yeah. John and I saw each other a couple of days ago at his Super Bowl party, so we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl. That way, we won't lose half of our audience.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I know the Browns fans had nothing to say. Although I will give a shout out to the Clevelanders that were playing for both sides. The Kelsey brothers, is that their name?
Yes,
the Kelsey. That was kind of nice, that the two brothers, first brothers ever to play in the Super Bowl against each other, were from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, right down the street from us. So that's our as much as we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Although I do want to give a shout out to a couple other people who turns out are big fans of the show, who I happened to see at the party. Bob, hey Bob. We're glad you're a listener, and John as well. Also to Dan. John and I are fraternity brothers with Dan. He's down in South Carolina. Dan mentioned to me that he's keeping tabs on us. So, hey, Dan, thank you for listening. So today is Valentine's Day, and I promised last week that I would have some Valentine's stories. So get ready. I've got some Valentine's stories for us this week. Some Valentine's Day records. Not the kind you spin for the old timers who remember those, but records. The other kind that I was going to say the kind that you break, but you can break the vinyl records too. You'll get it. Just wait. Also some gifts. If you haven't gotten your Valentine's Day gift yet, I've got some ideas for you, and also some things to not do. And that would be advice for Valentine's Day. So we got all that kind of good stuff coming up. Also, I know John's been waiting for this. I mentioned to him that we had huge stories about Bigfoot this week. Count them, 3 Bigfoot stories. And get ready. One is Bigfoot footprints in the snow, huge Bigfoot footprints from Canada. That's the first one. Second one, a picture and a very clear photograph of Bigfoot from a trail camera in somewhere in the United States. I forget when that one was from. And then this is the biggest one. I broke this story on mysteriousuniverse.org, where I am the editor and head writer. This was one of our biggest stories of the past 2 years. They found a tooth, a Bigfoot tooth. I forget where it's at. It's in. We'll let you know later. But it's huge, and it was DNA tested. So you want to be here for all the gory details of that as well, with photos. So for those of you who are listening, we're glad you're listening, but we welcome you to join us as well on YouTube. Take a look at the videos on YouTube, where you can see all the photos that of the things that we're talking about. Anything else? Oh, the world's biggest high heel shoe. That's our first story coming up, or one of the early stories. So you'll be you'll be interested in that one. This is someone, by the way, who we've had on the show before, so a return guest, so to speak. What else do we have? Some more odd news, some more world records, strange sports. John's got another great sport for us this week. So let's get right to it, because I know John is just anxiously awaiting, and I'm going to make him wait a little longer here. But I do have a football story. So Green Bay Packers quarterback, who is John, do you know his name?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, that's right. He was in the news this week. I can't believe it. He's he's upset because he's not in the Super Bowl. So he's got to get himself in the news somehow. So here's what he says. He said earlier in the week that he is going on a 4-day, 4-night darkness retreat, where he will be in complete solitary isolation for 4 days and 4 nights. And why would he do such a thing? To help him decide whether he's going to play next year for the Packers, demand to be traded to another team, or retire. 4 days in darkness to figure that out.
Okay, have a good time.
My thinking is if he's spending 4 days in darkness and all by himself, he'll probably come out and the first thing he'll do is apologize to all those kids he used to lock in the lockers back in high school. Do you remember that happening in high school, John?
Oh yeah, sure. There was always those kind of hijinks going on in high school.
Oh yeah. The football players loved doing that kind of stuff.
Sure,
so,
of course.
So 4 days in darkness. Now, one of the things he says is he's hoping that he will hallucinate, because he heard that while you do this, you could hallucinate. If he wants to hallucinate, take a couple hours and watch the videos from the Browns games, and he'll be hallucinating constantly.
You won't know what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. By the way, so I was once on, believe it or not, I was once on a 4-day, 4-night isolation retreat. I was locked up. I was in complete darkness. And it happened when I forgot to get a Valentine's Day card. So that's my first piece of advice.
Yeah, make sure that you come up with a card for your loved ones today.
If you haven't gotten the card yet, run out in 47 minutes.
Yeah.
Once the show is over, go get one. Okay. I know John got one. John always gets one. Karen, I'm hoping you got a card and something nice today. No. Okay. So moving along. So here's someone who got one of the greatest Valentine's Day gifts that I've heard about. And this lady we've talked about on this show before. Her name is Tanya Herbert, and Tanya is from Houston. And the reason why we talked about Tanya on the show before is because she holds the record as the woman with the world's largest feet. Do you remember that story?
Oh, I do remember that. Yes,
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, world's largest feet. Just in case you don't remember it, here's a picture of her world's largest feet. I didn't realize how big they were. It showed up on the screen here. And there's the footprint on the picture on the left is her feet. Picture on the right is a woman's hand on her foot, and the woman's hand is half as big as her feet. So Tanya is 6 feet 9 inches tall. She wears a size 18 women's shoe. Have you ever seen a size 18 shoe, Karen? They're
never.
Monstrous. If she wears a men's shoe, she wears a size 16 or 17. John, I can't even. I don't think I've ever seen one in a shoe store.
No, I can't recall that. Not at all.
No, 16, 17. The 12, 13 is about the biggest they carry.
Yeah, no kidding.
So if and there's no way to translate sizes to something meaningful. So I'll give you the statistics. Her right foot, which is the record breaker, measures 13.03 inches. Her left foot is 12.79 inches, which I think is second. So she probably holds first and second place. Her shoes, I said, are the size 18 for women, size 16 for men. She also holds the world record for kicking butt. Her ex-boyfriend. That's right. She kicked her ex-boyfriend 40 feet with one of those feet. So Tanya, was that her name? Yeah, Tanya got just an absolute amazing Valentine gift. Some people found out that she has never owned a pair of high-heeled shoes. So a custom shoe company in Chicago, Illinois, found out about this, and they got her measurements secretly, and they custom built a pair of high heel shoes for her. I'm going to take those feet down and look at something a little nicer here. So there she is. There's her high heel shoes.
Oh,
And
Wow.
there's Tanya standing very proudly in her high heeled shoes. Pretty nice.
yeah.
Really?
So the company said they had never made shoes that big before. In fact, they didn't know what to do. So they went to the company, the business that's next door to them in the building. And that company, by the way, custom makes canoes. And they helped.
Oh.
They gave them some advice on making something that big. So in her heels, she goes from 6'7" or 6'8" to 7'1". So in high heels, she is now 7 feet 1 inches tall. She lives in Houston, and being that tall, she's already picked up a second job. She rents herself out to picnics to provide shade. So, you know.
Do any
outdoor
of your
concerts.
Houston friends know her?
What's that?
You said she's in Houston, right?
She's in Houston, yeah.
Well, do any of your friends know her?
I don't know. That would
Oh.
be that's right. Tex Chick. We haven't mentioned Tex Chick and Steeler Girl in a long time.
No, we haven't.
No, and they usually listen online, so they listen live. So if you guys are listening, by all means, check her out. Check out Tanya and her shoe. The shoe store didn't charge her either. That was the other thing. This was a gift. All they asked for her to donate a pair of her other shoes, because they have an old woman in Chicago who has so many children, she needed a second shoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
No,
God.
that's
Oh.
Long way to go for that one, John
Yeah.
and Karen. I'm sorry. Everybody out there shaking their head. I can see the screen is going back and forth. We'll
Yep.
move on. I got it. Okay, so here's another Valentine's Day story for you. So, but people get married on Valentine's Day. I've heard of this. I've heard people say they get married on a famous day, so they always remember their anniversary. It's hard enough to remember Valentine's Day as it is, and then to complicate it with an anniversary. I don't know if this is such a good idea, but this story comes from this is for people who are married on Valentine's Day. At the Swiss Wedding World Expo in Bern, Switzerland. That's where the giant collider is, by the way, for those of you of the science nature. A Swiss baker, get ready for this. Swiss baker earned a Guinness World Record for creating the world's largest wearable wedding dress, made completely out of cake and icing. So I know you don't
Wow.
believe it. You want to see this? There
Yep.
you go. There's a lady wearing a wearable wedding dress made out of cake and icing. For those of you who can't see it, obviously the bulk of the dress is below the waist, but there's also a portion of it that covers her upper half, goes over her shoulders like shoulder straps. And there she is holding her Guinness World Record right there. The cake weighs 289 pounds, 13 ounces. And you can see the man over there who was slicing it up while she was still wearing it.
Wow.
By the
That
way,
is, I hate to say it, but that is the weirdest story you have shared with us.
Well, yeah.
hang
it's
on,
in
Karen.
there, for sure, Karen. I mean,
Hang on, Karen. They get weirder. So the groom, by the way, also set a record for eating the most cake while trying to find the garter.
Oh.
She was.
oh my.
She can't walk in it, obviously, supported, but they wheeled her down the aisle. And you know what song they did, John? Wheeled her down the aisle. They did Sugar Sugar.
Oh my.
Oh.
By the
I mentioned that to John. John, what band did Sugar Sugar?
The Archies.
The Archies, excellent. Okay, I got one more for you. At the reception, before they cut the cake off of her, they had the bridal dance. She danced with her father. She danced to Cut the Cake. You remember Cut the Cake?
Yes, I do. And that was done by the Average White Band.
Average White Band. Very good. John
Oh my
Stewart, I have
gosh.
my horn here. Nice going, John. So yeah, there's our world record wedding dress for the week. 289 pounds. Unbelievable. Okay. Here's another Valentine's story for you. So this one comes from South Africa. I'm going to mention Facebook on at this point because many times I will test some of these stories on Facebook, possibly putting one or two of the jokes on. And this one was on Facebook today. So if you want to get a jump on things, you can always check me out on Facebook. You know how to find me. So this comes from a couple of divers. In South Africa. They celebrated Valentine's Day by setting a world record for the longest underwater kiss. And I've got a photo of them kissing underwater. There you go. They're in a pool, a glass-sided pool, so people can see them. And on the right-hand side, they're holding their world record certificate from the Guinness people. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you a guess, John. How long do you think this couple was able to hold their breath and kiss underwater?
I'm going to say a minute and 30 seconds.
Minute and 30 seconds. Karen, any guesses?
Yeah, I'm going to say a little over 3 minutes.
A little over 3 minutes. Yeah. Let's see. If this were Price is Right, you're both too low. They kissed and held their breath. Get ready. 4 minutes and 6 seconds.
Wow.
4 minutes and 6 seconds before they finally came out. And then the guy, what's his name? Miles set a second record because when Beth found out that he didn't get her a Valentine's Day card, she held his head underwater for another 5 minutes. So he holds a second record for the longest single person to be underwater without kissing anybody on Valentine's Day.
Okay. Good one, Paul. Good one.
Now, but get a load of this. They trained for this, which makes sense. But they also, today, the day that they did this, they had 2 test runs. So first they stayed underwater kissing for 2 minutes. Then they came up. Then they went again and they stayed underwater kissing for 3 minutes before going for the gold, the record of 4 minutes and 6 seconds.
Wow. That's amazing.
We've all kissed someone, probably more than one person. Can you remember what your longest kiss was?
I cannot.
Karen, how about you?
I refuse to stay under the grounds that it might incriminate me.
Karen takes the fifth on this one.
Yep.
Smart move. I will say, I'm assuming that this kiss was with my wife. I don't remember the length of the longest kiss. I do remember that it lasted until we heard my parents coming. So that's all I can say. Other people I have asked this question, and the other question I asked was, if you take a look at them, they both have their eyes closed. Most people normally kiss with their eyes closed. Is that right?
Yes.
Would you say?
I think
yes.
so.
Yeah, I find with Donna and I, it sometimes we open our eyes. It just depends on who's driving at the time.
That's a good idea. Keep your eyes open.
That's exactly right. That's right. Rule of thumb. Okay, so I'm going to take this down here because I can't stand these people celebrating Valentine's Day that way. But so rules of thumb for Valentine's Day gift. So this is for anybody who hasn't gotten their Valentine a gift yet, or who screwed up and got the wrong thing this year. This is going to help you get ready next year. So rule of thumb for buying a Valentine gift: never get anything that requires you to hold your breath, like this idiot did. Don't get anything from Home Depot. And I don't think they sell flowers. So if they do, it's in the garden section, and they don't always have that open. Never get anything less expensive than what she got you. Okay, so you want to make sure, try and figure out how much she's spending and spend more, right? And last but not least, no balloon rides. Don't get any balloon rides
Ahem.
It's
for the
time.
foreseeable future. That's right, John. I know you were pricing them out. Don't think about that anymore.
All right, okay.
Now, so I'm assuming everybody got Valentine's Day cards. You reach a certain age and the funny ones are no longer funny. So you end up getting those romantic ones. So for those of you who got a romantic Valentine's Day card, I've got some classic Valentine's Day jokes to tell here. So get ready for this. John, I know you love these. So what did the chef give his Valentine? A hug and a quiche. I told you they were I told you they were classic.
They are classics.
Here's another one. What did one pickle say to the other? You mean a great deal to me. These are classics. These are classics. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Funny. They're funny.
Why do melons have to get married in a church?
Melons have to get
Melons.
married in a church.
That's right, because they can't elope.
Oh,
I know you're right. John is writing them down. If you guys are listening, John is writing these down as we speak. What do farmers?
Can't forget them.
There you go. What do farmers give their wives on Valentine's Day? Hogs and kisses. We'll go right past that one. This is my favorite here. Did you hear about the bed bugs who fell in love? They're getting married in the spring.
That was almost good.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. That's a dad joke. That wasn't too bad there. Okay. All right. So here's another gift idea. This one came out this week. In fact, just another one I talked about on Facebook. A company has come out with a new perfume. This is for you, John. A new perfume that smells like WD-40. $24 an ounce for a 1 ounce can. I've got a picture of it here. Let's see. Well, there's our kissing couple again here. So there we go. Here we go. WD-40 perfume. Eau de perfume smells like WD-40. That's what it's called.
Who wants to smell like WD-40?
Good question.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
I ordered it.
I hope not.
No, actually, I didn't. I used the real thing. I used regular WD-40 because I wanted to smell like WD-40. Not only did I smell like WD-40, but I could get my shirt off much faster than before.
I'm sure. Yep.
Yeah, it's great stuff. People, on Facebook, I had so many comments from people who said, "Oh, my dad used to come home smelling like motor oil, or he came home smelling like WD-40, or." A lot of them said that was a smell that they remembered from their childhood and associated it with their father, obviously not their mother. If your mother's using WD-40, you better find out what she does for a living. So these guys are selling this WD-40 perfume, and they stole from WD-40 the ideas for their advertising. I'm convinced, because they're using the same ads as the regular WD-40. For example, they said that the WD-40 perfume, you should wear it because it helps loosen nuts. Well, that's what don't kill the messenger. That's what the ad said. It also says that it helps things slide in easier. So don't kill the messenger. And it prevents squeaks. I had to think about that one for a second, but if you live in an apartment with really thin walls, maybe you don't want your neighbors to find out what you're doing. So this would be a perfect thing to have. WD-40 perfume prevents squeaks. Okay.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay. All right. We're gonna stop there. We'll take that picture down for a second here. So now we come to my Valentine's gift to John DiNallo. John and I have known each other for 50 years. It's only recently that I know he's become a fan of a creature by the name of Bigfoot. And for those of you who are regular listeners to the show, you know how much John loves the Bigfoot story. So this is my Valentine to John. I've got 3 Bigfoot stories
All right,
with
Paul.
photos.
All ready. That sounds
So
good.
this is it. This is it. Get ready for the. In fact, I better get the
Okay.
first one lined up here.
Sit up
for
on
you.
this one.
Okay, all right. So I've got photos and everything. So here's the first one. This one comes from Alberta, Canada. Okay, from Alberta, Canada. That's the footprint. So
Province.
from
Province, yeah.
Kanaskis, Kanaskis, Kanaskis country, and in Alberta. Kanaskis country is a big wooded area. It's multi-use. It has parks, but it also has like logging, and they drill for oil there. It's this huge area. A lot of people around, and a lot of opportunity. A lot of places for Bigfoot to hide, a lot of opportunity for people to see Bigfoot. And that's exactly what happened. So west of Calgary, near the foothills of the Canadian Rocky, to give you a feel for the geography, near the Kananaskis River. Okay, so this guy is out looking, just wandering around, not necessarily looking for Bigfoot. And here's what he finds. He finds these footprints. There we go. All right, so here's the footprints, John. So these are walking, not just one footprint, but you've commented before. How come there's only one footprint? These are footprints walking in front of him into the woods. So I can count maybe 4, 8, at least 9 or 10 footprints walking away from him.
Hey, John, do you notice something I noticed? The footprints are not indented.
It's a weird looking picture. I know the ones.
Oh,
the
that's a
ones
good
closer,
observation by Karen.
the ones farther away look like they're indented, don't they?
Oh,
I
okay.
guess no.
Yeah.
I guess Paul's right on that, but you're right.
I think it's the
Yeah,
angle,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
the light from the snow.
I
those of you-
appreciate that.
All right, okay.
So yeah, they're big footprint. For those of you who can't see it, the guy measured them. They were he measured it by using his own footprint. Let me show you his foot. So there you go. That gives you an idea of how big it is.
Ooh,
His foot, he said, is a size 10.5 shoe, which is about 10 3/4 inches. So based on that, that is about a 30-inch long footprint that he claims belongs to Bigfoot. Now, I know John will point out that he doesn't see any toes, and I agree.
I do not. I have to be in the center. As much as I'm interested in Bigfoot, I still have to offer my critical view of things, and I don't see that. I don't see the toes.
Maybe Bigfoot had his boots on that day. I'm not sure.
Well, it's a possibility. It's a distinct possibility.
I'm telling you, if this Bigfoot, if his feet are 30 inches long, that Bigfoot would, using proportions, would be well over 12, 13, 14 feet tall. So tall. In fact, I just got a call from that lady in Houston. She wants his number because if he's that big, that's just her kind of guy. But so it's difficult from the perspective that the photo was taken to determine how long the stride is. If you take a look back at this picture, it's really hard to tell. There's a tree in the photo, but it's difficult to tell the length of the stride. Most of the people who commented on this photo said that they believed that they were Bigfoot footprints. And this guy obviously did. So he posted it on, I think it was on Reddit, and he said he was going to go back the next day and look at them again. And he went back the next day and they had melted. So he doesn't have a follow-up photo for it. So John, what do you think about that?
Well, it's different. I'll say that. But I have to say, Paul and Karen, I don't know if it's definitive proof. I mean, it could be, but I'm not necessarily convinced that those footprints are from Bigfoot.
Okay. I did some research, and the Alberta, Canada, which is where this is apparently a Bigfoot hotspot. So there's an organization called the Alberta Sasquatch Organization. And they keep track of Bigfoot sightings. And a magazine called Rocky Mountain Outlook also did some research. and they said that there's tons of Bigfoot in this area. So if you just go by the fact that what else could it be, and it certainly doesn't look like bear footprints.
No,
You know, it's
mm-mm.
not a moose.
No.
So they go by process of elimination. If it's not any of those things, what else could it be? It must be Bigfoot. But I agree. I would say that there's not enough evidence for me. I would put this in the still unknown category. Be
Yeah.
nice if we had some more evidence.
Sure.
Okay. Now this one comes from Washington State. So this happened. This photo was actually taken in 2020, but the couple who took the photo was afraid to do anything with it. But they finally turned it into the Bigfoot Research Organization, where I've referenced them before. So this family lived in Pierce County, Washington, which is where Mount Rainier is, the tallest mountain, I think, in Washington, and near Tacoma. So it gives you a geographic perspective.
Okay.
So a couple has three kids, and they live out in the middle of nowhere. They wanted their kids to get a feel for what kind of animals are in the area that they don't normally see during the day. So they put up a bunch of trail cams, and one day they picked up something. They picked up squirrels and birds and all the other good stuff. One day they picked up this particular photo right here. Nope, not that one. This one. Now, so this is something walking in front of one of their cameras. Appears to be a hairy, human-like, upright creature of some sort. Unfortunately, I'll point this out. It only shows that this is the entire photo here. It doesn't. It shows the back of Bigfoot's head, about half of it, and it only goes down to Bigfoot's torso. So you can't see, for example, Bigfoot's hand, certainly not his butt or his legs or his feet. But still, definitely a hairy, upright walking looking creature. So they thought it was Bigfoot, and they were afraid to even show their kids. They have since moved away. They live in New York now, but they found the photo and they decided to see what the Bigfoot research people thought. And the Bigfoot research people went nuts. They thought this is one of the best pictures we've ever seen. What else do you have? And unfortunately, that's the only photo that they have. They don't have any footprints. They don't have anything else. So the Bigfoot research people say that Pierce County is one of the top counties in Washington State for Bigfoot sightings. That's the reason why they were so excited. And while they have 83 reports of Bigfoot in Pierce County, including howls, knocks, they have recordings of all kinds of stuff. And they were impressed with this photo. They thought this is it's still one of the best ones. So John, let's get your perspective on that. But it's somewhat clearer than photos I've seen before.
By comparison, it's probably the most significant photo I've ever seen. Because all the other photos are grainy and they have a far distance away. That's pretty close.
It is pretty close. Yeah, it's almost as if the Bigfoot didn't know that there was a camera pointed at him.
Right.
Now, kind of skinny arms, don't you think?
Yes, that's the thing that I'm looking at. His torso looks very thin for the type of creature we think he is.
Yeah, kind of. Sure. Not very big shoulders.
No,
not much of a chest. If you're looking for a well-built, Dwayne Johnson kind of Bigfoot, that's certainly not what this guy is.
No, definitely not. But I think it's a step in the right direction for me.
I agree.
Step in the right direction. Okay. All right. So we're 1 for 1 here. Now, this is the next one. This is the one that John's been waiting for here. You don't often, I certainly don't, and I've been writing stories about Bigfoot for 8 years now. I don't think I've ever written a story about someone finding a Bigfoot tooth, and that's exactly what we're going to look at next. So this story comes from, let's see, I know she said where it's at. I'll find it in, anyways, it comes from TikTok. TikTok video. The person who posted it calls herself the Paranormal Chick, and she was contacted by another TikTok user named Nathan. doesn't give his last name, who says he found this tooth in an undisclosed location. So let me give you a photo of the tooth while I give you some explanation. So there you go. There's a person with a blue glove, one of those surgical gloves, holding what appears to be a very large tooth. In fact, Paranormal Chick asked, is this a Bigfoot or a giant tooth? So let me give you some details on it. So this person, Nathan, sent her the video and also sent her a letter that he received from the people that he sent the tooth to be analyzed for DNA. So what the first thing they say is, the results for the sample you sent for analysis have been conducted. Before we go any further, as per the non-disclosure agreement, we both agreed not to disclose any personal information to another party pertaining to the information of this letter. So right off the bat, Nathan violated his non-disclosure agreement by sending the photo to Paranormal Chick. So, do we trust Nathan that that's the actual Bigfoot? I don't know. So Nathan, here's the letter. So Paranormal Chick reads it. She says that the clinic found dental pulp in the tooth. I think I have a photo of them digging into it. So here you go. So there's the top of the tooth. So they're using some sort of pick to dig into the abscess of the tooth, the top of the tooth. And they found dental pulp, which is tissue and nerve. So they actually found tissue in there, which confirms that it's a real tooth and it's not a bone from another living creature. So they confirmed that it's a real tooth. It also has dentine in it. Now, I'm thinking the gum people better hear about this, because if Bigfoot's chewing dentine, 4 out of 5 Bigfoot surveyed recommend dentine to people who chew gum. The ad writes itself. But it's spelled differently. It's dentine is a part of tooth decay. So the Bigfoot obviously didn't floss. So they found this tooth decay in the tooth. But John, it tells you that it certainly looks like a tooth, and if it's got decay, it probably is a tooth. So so let's see. So that confirmed it's an actual tooth. Once they were comfortable that it was a tooth, they analyzed the DNA, and they said the sample has determined the DNA contents between 97 and 99% human DNA. The specific DNA match is unknown to any records in the international database. So what they concluded, the lab, which he didn't identify, is that this is definitely a tooth. It came from something that has up to 99% human DNA, but not 100%. They can't tell what it's from. So,
interestingly enough, to me, that's the most scientific based photo or information I've seen on Bigfoot ever, I think. There might be some validity to this, Paul and Karen, the way I see this.
If it's true, and I can't, the Paranormal Chick held up the letter. Okay, I didn't have the letter in my hand. All of these things could be fabricated, and it could be a very elaborate hoax.
Sure.
But or it could be for real. We really don't know. But I agree. I've never seen a photo of a large tooth like that. Would certainly be an awfully big Bigfoot, because for those of you who can't see the tooth, it's at least the size of the thumb of the person who's holding it. Maybe even bigger, wouldn't you say? It's almost like a shot glass. I don't know.
Doesn't it look too perfect?
Good point, Karen. Good point.
That's the problem that I'm having with it.
Good point. We did a story a while ago about a skull, a Bigfoot skull. And that was one of the complaints that a lot of people had, was it just looked too perfect. And it turned out it was. It came from a novelty shop. So I don't know if this, I've never seen a novelty tooth that big. So
really,
places where I hang out. So anyway, so John says this. I'm hearing that the needle is pointing towards that might be believable.
Yeah, because I've never seen anything else that you could say was a physical part of a Bigfoot.
Yeah, right.
like a cut off finger or a cut off toe or something, right?
Yeah.
See the footprints, right? But you never see anything that could be looked at or thought to be something that would be from a Bigfoot's body. But
Yeah.
I think this is again moving the needle, Paul. I would have to agree on that.
Moving the needle. Okay. So one more. I have one more story. I didn't tell you about this one. So John is one of those people, Karen as well, and I have done the same thing. I've always complained about the photos and how we never seem to be able to find remnants of Bigfoot. It seems like they appear and they disappear. Well, the main story in the news this week may have answered your question about why Bigfoot seems to disappear so quickly. And I'm going to show you the picture here. So here is Bigfoot is actually a balloon. And this is a this is a Bigfoot floating in the sky right before it was shot down by a missile. So what do you think of that?
Hard to believe. I'll just say I'm going to leave it at saying it's hard to believe.
Somebody posted that on Facebook. I said that's the funniest thing. We got to put that on the show. Okay, all right. So that was a fake right there. But the rest of them, 2 out of 3. We're doing pretty good on Bigfoot stories this week. Okay, now we all drive cars. This story is about catalytic converters. So big thing. People their catalytic converters are being stolen. Hondas, Ford trucks are notorious. Toyotas. Well, guess what? You'll never believe what vehicle had their catalytic converters stolen. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Oh no!
Yeah. Can you believe that? I think I have a picture of the Wienermobile for those people who have never seen it before. Do I have a picture? Yeah, there it is, right there.
Okay.
So this happened in Las Vegas. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was in parked outside a hotel, and they came out in the morning and the catalytic converter was gone. So they had to have it towed because you can't the car won't operate without the catalytic converter. So Oscar Mayer people are upset. The police, Las Vegas police, they're really upset. Things like this shouldn't happen in Las Vegas. So they said a police spokesperson, got on the news and said that they can't wait to catch up with the thief. Wait, there's more. And they relish the thought of grilling him. So
a lot of food references there, obviously.
There you go. I was thinking how ironic it would be if it was not one person, but it was actually a gang of 8 thieves who were looking to steal catalytic converters from 10 Wienermobiles, which would match the 8 wieners and 10 buns that we always try to figure out. Anyway, I don't.
Do you remember when you told us that they were looking for people to drive the Wienermobile?
Yeah,
I applied.
Well, did you
and
really?
They never contacted me. I'm so disappointed.
Oh. Huh. You know so much about wieners. That's the one thing that they look for, besides being able to drive. No, hot dogs, wieners, sausages. If there's anyone who could be a hot dog expert for Oscar Mayer, it would be you, Karen.
Okay.
But I don't even know what a catalytic converter is. I need. If it's something in the car and it converts, I need something that will convert my old 8-track tapes into DVDs so I can listen to them in the car again. Does a catalytic converter do that? I don't think so.
No.
So somebody told me that it takes the pollution out of the air. So I'm driving through the flats the other day. If it takes the pollution out of the air, I need a flatulator converter, whatever that might be called. Anyway, so that's our last story for the week. I did that for you, Karen, because I remember you were talking about. I didn't realize that you applied for the job.
I did.
I think you'd be great at that. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You get to drive around. You get to give free hot dogs to people. Give demonstrations. Talk about the history of Oscar Mayer. Sing the song. My baloney head.
That's the best part. Singing the song.
Singing the song, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of singing songs, people are going be something after they hear John's sport for the week. So we finished our stories, and that means it's time for What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. Every week I ask John, who I've known for a long time. John is a sports buff. I was at his house for the Super Bowl, and you can't walk throughout the basement without seeing some sports paraphernalia that John has collected. He truly has a massive and impressive collection of sports memorabilia. And he knows an awful lot about sports. So I ask him, John, every week I ask him to find a strange sport that fits with the theme of What in the World. And every week he comes up with another strange sport that tops the previous week. I don't know. This may top many previous weeks here. So I'm going to get get your photos lined up for you, John, while you explain our sport for this week.
Sounds good, Paul. Thanks. And I think our audience will have a opinion that they can draw on this one, because this is clearly a very, very strange sport, but it is a sport. And get ready for this. Our sport this week is cockroach racing. You heard that correctly. Cockroach racing. Let me explain.
Cockroach racing. Okay.
Okay. So cockroach racing, it started as a club gambling activity in 1982, and it was started at the Storybridge Hotel in Brisbane, which is in the province of Queensland, Australia.
Wow.
Now, they don't have a cockroachy derby, but they do have, and this is true, an Australian Day cockroach races, and it's held every year on January 26th. And the reason it's held on January 26th, for those of you in the Down Under that might be listening or watching our show,
we're huge Down Under.
It's Australia Day.
Australia Day. They would know.
Australia Day.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, and of course, as expected, my researchers show that cockroach racing began in a bar.
Figures.
Which of course has plenty of beer and ale, and of course roaches. Now, the contest originally was held in the parking lot, and it proved so popular that it quickly became an annual event. And if you thought the hyperbole of at the Super Bowl was overwhelming, the annual Australia Day cockroach races calls itself the greatest gathering of thoroughbred cockroaches in the world. Now, you may have thought thoroughbred, right? It's like, okay, cockroach is a cockroach, or is there a thoroughbred cockroach? But at any rate, that's their viewpoint. So let me explain. Each year, 7 such events are held throughout Australia. And in addition to the sprint, there is also, get ready for this, a cockroach steeplechase. Now, the main event held at the Storybridge Hotel, it is called, and aptly named, I gather, the Gold Cup event.
I'm guessing. So this sounds like there's playoffs, and then you go. The championship is at this hotel, the Storybridge Hotel.
Well, because there's different games too. It's not just one race. There's different ones. So
fill us in on how they compete.
Sure. So in the Gold Cup event, the race arena is a 20-foot ring. The cockroaches are kept in individual glass bottles, and then on signal, they're let out in the middle of the ring. Now wait, the first roach to reach the edge of the ring is declared the winner.
Wow.
And if you're not impressed, cockroaches, wait a minute, this is a scientific fact. Cockroaches are second only to tiger beetles in insect speed.
Wow.
So the tiger beetle is recognized as the fastest insect. Cockroaches are a close second.
Wow.
I'll get a little bit more specific with you. I was able to find this out. They can generate speeds up to 50 body lengths per second. Now think of that. 50 body lengths per second.
Yeah.
And in sprinters language, get ready for this, that equates to about 200 miles an hour.
200 miles an hour.
In
Wow.
sprinters language.
Yeah. No, I get it in perspective. Yeah.
Now,
Unbelievable.
here's
So
another here's another interesting point.
How
So,
do you,
well,
go ahead.
well, let me explain. There are actually cockroach breeders, and they bring the fastest insects that they have, quote, in their stable, and anyone can enter because you can actually buy a roach for sale at the event. So you don't have to be a breeder. You can just show up and I go on, I'm going to buy that roach if that roach is for sale.
I bought many roaches before, but I didn't race them.
You can also get it from the recesses of your basement or whatever too. You can always find roaches there.
Now that's exactly what I'm. So John, I've been showing some photos here, and for those of you listening in, they put a plastic rink down, and it's 20 feet in diameter. Now this guy just lifted a jar, and there must be 30 roaches running all over the place.
Right.
Are there numbers painted on them? How do they know which one?
That
one
is
and who it belongs to?
I could not
Do
find.
they have little jerseys?
My research didn't bear that out, Paul and Karen, so I can't really comment on that. But at any rate, yeah, it's obviously a competition, and I don't mean to say this as a joke, but keep your eye on, so to speak, because those critters move pretty fast. But it's even more.
I guess look at this pile of roaches here. This is the guy just lifted it. The roaches look like they're having an orgy. They don't even want to run.
No, they're just kind of like they're in a holding pattern. But wait.
And look at the people cheering. This is good time. Of course, they all have a beer in their hand.
Oh,
so.
yeah,
that
just enhances the experience when you have a beer or two. But the sport is so popular in Australia that, get ready for this, there's a cockroach racing hall of fame.
Oh,
no, wait. To substantiate this, some of the most famous members of the Hall of Fame have specific names, and some of the names are the following: Soft Cocky, who won the very first championship; Cocky Balboa;
good one;
Cocky Dundee; Drain Lover; and Priscilla, Queen of the Drains. I'm not making this up. I mean, this is like you people can search this out on the internet and make sure that what I'm saying is accurate. Now,
Cockroach Racing Hall of Fame. Wow.
And cockroach racing, ladies and gentlemen, is not confined to the United Kingdom.
Oh, get out.
Cockroach racing has spread throughout the world, including the United States.
Oh, no.
Oh, I hope not.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
For some, at Loyola University in Maryland, the university, some of the students there, they hold an annual event, and get ready for this. It's not March Madness, but it's Madagascar Madness, the running of the roaches.
Oh.
Now, it is sponsored, wait a minute, it is sponsored by students that are studying general entomology. And again, to get a degree in bugs, I guess, is how you could break it down. But
That's it. Yeah.
We all know entomology is the study of insects. But they train the Madagascar cockroaches, and these are the world's largest roaches, for short sprints and marathon racing.
Marathon.
So it's not just
Madagascar roaches are huge. They are. They're the size of your hand. They're massive. Wow.
Aaron, this is for you. There is also a race that is conducted every 4 years by the Pest Control Association of New Jersey. And it even breaks into a little bit of a political view, perspective, I should say, This race predicts which Democratic candidate for presidential election will be running. For example, here's an example.
Okay.
In 1999, Al Gore won over Bill Bradley, and
Well,
Bill Clinton, quote, won by an antenna, unquote, in 1992. So the Roaches are given the names of the Democrat. I don't know anything about Republican candidates, but Democratic candidates
yeah,
in this race have been known to that. So
unbelievable.
it is unbelievable. And so again, as Paul and Karen have mentioned previously, today is Valentine's Day. So if your loved one is into this sport, an appropriate gift would be a dozen long-legged red roaches,
Oh,
and not the long-stemmed red roses, which normal people typically give as a gift.
Horrible. Be careful, John. Don't offend some of our
Oh,
fans out
you
there.
know,
That
I can get a little bit on the edge here once in a while, so I'm gonna
roach.
throw that out. But if nothing else, it's really bizarre. I mean,
Yes,
That is
that
bizarre.
was very bizarre.
That is bizarre. The World Championship of Roach Racing. Where else would you hear about that but on What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo? Great
Yep.
sport this week, John. Thank you so much for that.
you're welcome.
You may, John and I, as I said, John and I go back a long way. You may remember this. You may not remember this. We participated in a form of roach racing way back in college with the fraternity that we both belonged to. I don't know. Do you remember that?
I got a vague recollection now. Do you have a picture that can possibly bring my memory back?
Well, here's what happened. There was a competition between the fraternities, and we thought I lived in the dorm. John did not, and we had plenty of roaches in the dorm. So we just went to my room and collected up all the fastest ones, and we took them to the competition, and we were all set to win. But we had an older fraternity brother, John, who you remember. His name was Tom. Tom. His last name began with G. And
I remember Tom G. Very well.
Tom G. That's right. So Tom G. muscled his way in. We were just about ready to win, and Tom G. muscled his way in. And here's what he did: he ate our roaches.
Oh,
Tom was known to eat just about anything. He would eat lit cigarettes and cigars. He would eat
cigars, glass, cigarettes. Yeah, he would eat a variety of objects. Let's put it that way.
That's right. So here's a picture. We're showing a picture of Tom's mouth with a big roach in it. And I'll take that down because I know Karen doesn't want to look at that.
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm getting real sick now.
So for our buddies in the frat, like our friend Dan, that's a trip back to the past for you.
That was a blast of the past there, Paul. That's right. Sorry to gross you out there, Karen. And
thank you again. Thank you again, John, for that great sport. Cockroaching.
It's okay.
I'm
You just saved my husband money. He doesn't have to take me out to dinner now. So we're fine. Yep.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. Well, we reached the end of What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. That means it's time for Bluff the Co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. Real easy to play. I have 3 stories similar to the ones we've been listening to all afternoon, and you've been listening to. One big difference: those were all true. Hard to believe, but they really were. The stories to Bluff the Co-host may or may not be true. They may be real. They may be a bluff, and it's up to Karen and John and you playing at home to decide which ones they are. Betting is allowed, so place your bets. Karen and John, hand on the buzzer, and let's get right to story number 1. Many businesses are cutting back on employees by replacing them with robots, but a grocery store in Pennsylvania may have to fire its robot and go back to humans. The store has been using a robot to find and clean up spills, help shoppers find items, and to pass out coupons and free samples. But that ended recently when the robot decided to slip out the back door and make a run for it. Make that a roll for it. While it had no trouble with the store aisles, the lines in the parking lot baffled the rolling robot, and store managers were able to catch it before it got run over. The technical staff turned the robot off and back on again and hoped that solved the problem. Okay, so the robot that works in a grocery store in Pennsylvania that ran away from its job. What do you say, Karen and John? Real or bluff? We'll start with Karen.
Well, the robot has to be programmed by a human. So the human would have had to made a mistake in the programming, which is very possible. So I'm going to say true.
Oh, very technical answer there. Karen says that the escaping robot is real. How about you, John?
Part of me wants to say it's true, but I think it's false because I don't know how effective a robot could be in a grocery store. I mean, a robot can be effective in certain workplaces and so forth, right? Manufacturing plants, of course. But I don't know if it's in a grocery store, and I don't know if it's going to be able to do the things that you mentioned with helping customers and so forth. So I'm going to say it's a big fabrication. I'm going to say it's false.
Oh, okay. John, well
A
thought out
big
answer there.
fabrication.
There you go. That's right. John says that the robot grocery store robot is a bluff. Karen says that it's real. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, John, get ready for those robots to be in the grocery store near you. That is a real story.
Oh my gosh, Karen, very good.
Yeah,
Karen,
the
on the
giant
right
grocery
there.
store chain in Pennsylvania. And I've heard of other chains using robots, but this particular one, and it actually ran out the front door to escape, and they had to go chasing after it.
Hey, Paul,
And
want to get a video of that, will you, for our next show? That'd be better than getting a video.
Yeah, okay, I'll take a look. Yeah, that's exactly what it does. It passes out coupons, passes out food, and
Really?
looks for spills on the floor. So things robots can do. All right. So the score is 1-0. Karen's ahead. Let's get right to story number 2. We've heard about bad ideas for Valentine's Day gifts, but this may be the worst. A guy in India heard his new girlfriend really liked broccoli. So he decided to surprise her by giving her a dozen bunches of broccoli shaped into a bouquet. If that wasn't enough, he strewed pieces of broccoli on the floor, leading to the bedroom. There, she found the bed covered with broccoli arranged in the shape of a giant heart. Believe it or not, the girlfriend said she liked the brocade, but the ones on the bed were a little much. The whole thing inspired the girlfriend to give him a gift too, the name of a good florist. Okay, so guy in India who surprised his broccoli-loving girlfriend with a broccoli bouquet, broccoli strewn all around the house, and broccoli all over the bed. What do you say, John? Real or bluff?
Well, I'm going to say it's real because people do anything these days. I mean, there's all kind of
Do they?
I'm just saying, though, from a behavioral standpoint, okay? I mean, I think his heart's in the right place, obviously. I mean, if his girlfriend really likes broccoli, I mean, he's trying to, make her happy and so forth. So, I mean, he's got a thought in the right direction, I think. And it's in his, and if he really likes this girl or loves her, I'm sure it's in his heart. So I'm going to say it's true. I'm going to say it's a true story.
Have you ever done anything like this?
Broccoli, no. I'm going to leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. Okay.
Leave it at that. There you go. Take the 5th. Okay. So John says that's a real story. Karen, how about you?
Well, I hate to say it, but I do believe it's a real story because the first Christmas holiday my husband and I spent together, he bought me boxes and boxes of green pens because he thought my favorite color was green and I had a floral business.
Wow.
Green is not my favorite color. I don't like green pens, but love will make you do some strange things. So true.
So based on that, Karen says it's a real story. John also says it's a real story. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say congratulations to both of you. That's a real story.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, and they're still together.
Well, I was going to say, hopefully it ends in
there you go. All right. So the score, wow. Karen got 2 right. Karen got both of our.
Karen, you're batting
I'm trying. Yeah.
Yeah. So fortunately for John, points are doubled in round number 3. So John, here's your chance, right?
I'm gonna try
to sweep it away. Story number 3. A company in England, which has been making hot water bottles for over 100 years, noticed that sales had dropped quite a bit lately as younger people go with electric blankets and heaters. However, their new model is winning them back and may soon be their best-selling product ever. It's a life-size, human-shaped rubber hot water bottle that comes in 2 sexes, the hot water Bobby and the hot water Barbie. Each holds 3 gallons or about 12 liters of hot water and have been tested to hold their heat for at least 4 hours, even on the coldest nights. The hot water Barbie and Bobby are guaranteed to be leak-proof as long as they're used properly. That means hugging is okay, but nothing more. Bobby and Barbie don't have clothes, so it's recommended you dress them in long johns or flannel nightshirts. Okay, so the hot water bottles, life-size hot water bottles, hot water Barbie, hot water Bobby. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
I can't imagine, first of all, filling this thing and then taking it into like the bedroom or wherever. It's going to be almost impossible to move. It's going to be that heavy.
Oh,
and on top of it all, I just think it is totally ridiculous. So I'm going to say you made this up.
Okay. Put all that into one word. Karen said it's a bluff. All right. How about you, John?
Well, Karen's coming from the logical side on that, and I agree with a lot of what she said, but in the category of anything is possible these days, I'm going to say that I could see people trying to do something like this, and anything goes in some respects. So I'm going to say it's a true story.
John goes with the anything goes again. Anything goes. It's a true story. If it's so weird, it has to be true. That's the other.
The same kind of concept, Paul and Karen. Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so John says the life-size hot water bottles are true. Karen says they're a bluff. I want to make a note to everybody who's listening that I noticed John taking notes on this one. That may be a warning to his wife as well. But the judges say, congratulations, Karen, that's a bluff. Sorry, John.
Oh, Karen, very good. Karen, you got 3 right today.
I got 3 right.
Three today. That's right.
Well, you know what that means for me?
Yeah.
That means more study this week. More studying. So
good. Good news for John's wife. She won't be getting a hot water Bobby for Valentine's Day. They don't exist. Bad news is that John's going to be getting notes from our listeners, wondering or encouraging him to study more this week. And that brings us to the end of What in the World. I want to thank Karen Hale, our co-host, producer, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net. Please, everybody, take a visit to newclevelandradio.net. You find out the instructions on how to download our podcast. It's free. Where to find it on YouTube. And then take a look at all the other great podcasts that Karen has on newclevelandradio.net. Something for everybody. And I want to thank my old friend, John DiNallo. Thanks again, John, for being a good sport, for being good with sports, and being a great co-host. So thanks for everything you do for us, John.
You're welcome, Paul and Karen. This is always one of the highlights of my week, of course, is What in the World. We learned so much. We learned so much on this show.
Learned so much. That's right. And I want to especially thank all of our listeners, everybody out there watching us on YouTube now or in the future. Thanks so much for joining us. Without you, we don't have a podcast. We hope that you have as much fun listening as we do making the podcast for you. So again, I want to thank you for that. Also wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. Celebrate happy Valentine's Day with a smile. Do something fun. Much better than candy, much better than flowers. Have some fun with your spouse or your cohort. I think that by far that's the best Valentine's Day ever. That's what I plan to do with my lovely wife once we're done here. And I think that that's it for me. So
That's it. And we'll be back in 2 weeks because our new schedule is
Yeah.
that we take the third week of each month off.
There you
So
go. Okay.
listen to some past podcasts and we'll see